Hello, everyone. My name is Beth Bador, and I refer to myself as the Kidney Goddess. And you can see here my t-shirt talks about a kidney walk that I did one time. And I wanted to have a brief conversation about quantum healing. I am just so fascinated by this concept. And for me, it is my truth in how I go about healing myself and some of my beliefs. And if you haven't heard about quantum healing, I wanted to express and explain it just a little bit to the best of my ability, since I am not a doctor. I am not a physicist. However, I am a retired physical therapist that has been on both sides of the spectrum. I have been an educator. I have been a healer as a physical therapist for over 30 years. And I've gone through several different stages and seen how medicine has changed over the last 30 years. And it's changed not only with technology, but it's changed with research and with learning new things about the body and how the body heals. And today we're talking more about, in our culture, more about mind-body healing than we ever have before. Way in the past, when I started practicing back in the 80s, they spoke more about how the body was a physical body and that the physical body could be healed through medicine and through other technology, through surgeries and all different kinds of things. But it was more matter of fact as far as the body was more looked at as maybe robotic, as parts and pieces that didn't really communicate with one another and didn't think about how our thoughts created an experience not only in the outside world, but within ourselves and within our body. And as we have learned so much more about medicine and our bodies and about physics, it's just changed how we view medicine in general and view our world and view ourselves as an individual, as a person. I say I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, which helps me to be resilient in my life and to be conscious of my belief is that we are all one. So when I believe a certain way, when I speak a certain way, I am affecting not only myself, but of the consciousness of everyone that is on earth. And maybe, if you want to believe, everybody who has passed on to another realm. That's for another discussion. So there is an individual that I have followed over the years, and I think you've probably heard of him, and I hope that I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Deepak Chopra. And he has written several books. You can find him out on the internet, on several platforms, and he is just a marvel of information and explaining the information, especially about quantum healing and the quantum body. I believe that just recently he wrote a book, I don't know exactly when, called The Quantum Body. But with quantum healing and quantum physics, he talks about quantum healing is the term that's coined by him, and it is describing how thoughts and our beliefs and our attitudes affect the way we experience illness and health, experience the world, and experience ourselves, as I spoke before. And the way we experience the illness is how we experience life also. Because usually when we say we have a disease, it's a dis-ease. It's a lack of balance and harmony within our bodies. And with quantum healing and quantum physics, it talks about how our mind is so connected with our environment, within our bodies, that when we speak a certain way, it affects the cells in our bodies. And you can either speak negatively about what's going on, or you can speak positively. There's another gentleman, oh, I wish I would have written down his name, that did research around water. You may possibly know about this. And he spoke very kindly, like words of love and peace and grace to a glass of water or some form of water. And then he spoke negatively about the water, like hate and anger and killing. And that water behaved in a different way. So when they looked at the water underneath the microscope, the water actually looked different if you have positive words and loving words compared to negative words and like words like killing and hate. And the ones that you spoke lovingly to, the water itself looked beautiful and organized and with some sort of purpose. But when you talk about hate and disgust and vomit and all those kind of words, it's disorganized and it's almost like an ugly pattern to the water. So he was showing how even as we speak out loud and to ourselves, it can affect the things around us and the things within inside of us. I believe that there's been other researches around plants, the same idea, that if you speak to a plant in a positive way, and if you speak to the plant, it's getting more oxygen. It's sensing that something's going on that's in a positive vibration frequency. And if you leave it alone, if you don't pay attention to it or you speak ugly to it, that it may tend to wilt, die, not grow as quickly. So with these type of researches and experiments, you can see physically how it can change the molecular structure of the plant and the water, and we're made up of so much water. So think consciously about what you're saying out loud and how you're talking to yourself, because your cells in your body heal what you say. Even if you don't say it out loud, it still will feel it in your body. So be very cautious how you speak. So with the study of matter and energy, the most fundamental level aims to uncover the properties and behaviors of the building block of nature. Think about that for a moment. That's pretty expansive, isn't it? In detail. And like I had explained before, when you're talking about Western medicine versus Eastern medicine versus how we used to think about the body as almost mechanical, robotic, compared to how quantum physics and quantum energy speaks about the body now. Before, it was almost like mechanical, like, you know, if somebody's tonsils are bothering them, we'll just take it out because we don't need those tonsils. Well, we're learning more and more that everything that our body has inside has some sort of use. And when you take something away, that is taking away a use of that particular organ that other organs try to make up for. So what's interesting with quantum physics, quantum healing, is I had to have my spleen removed when I was younger due to an illness having to do with my blood cells, and they would get stuck inside my spleen. So they decided at that point in time the best course of action was to take the spleen out so it didn't enlarge and have problems and issues. Well, now when I go for some healings, they say that they can still affect the energy of the spleen even though the spleen is not there. That your body has a memory, just like you have muscle memory. It has a memory of when the spleen was there. And I'm fascinated by that they took a structure, an organ of my body out to heal myself. And with some medicines and some frequencies and energies, there is still a resonance of that within inside me, even though it's physically not there. Isn't that amazing? I'm just fascinated by this stuff. Can you tell? I just love to hear about all this stuff about the body and medicine and how different cultures deal with healing and what cultures embrace nature and healing with food and healing with herbs and plants. And in America, it's all about, you go to the doctor, you get a pill, and that's supposed to fix the problem. Or you go to the doctor and you have all these symptoms, and the doctors treat the symptoms rather than the root cause. So I'll explain as far as that goes. So my belief is, I am a kidney patient and I take an awful lot of medicines. I don't know if you can see, but this is a planner I have for the week. And you can kind of see how many pills I have. So because I had a kidney transplant, they want to make sure that my body is still working as properly as it can and that I don't reject that kidney, right? So with my kidney, oh, where was I going with this? Hang on one second. Let me think.